time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State Campus. Is brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis. Banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute. Expertise, technology, compassion. All right here. Adams Brown. Strategic allies and CPAs. Going above and beyond for you. BTI. Your John Deere dealer with locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. The Taco Shop, dine in, carry out, or delivery. Since 1970, you've never had it so good. And Eagle, our community connected. Tiger Talk with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock.
And a good afternoon and welcome into Tiger Talk. This is Gerard Wellbrock, and it's good to have you with us here on this Wednesday. Another good program lined up for you today. We kind of get a little more crossover here. We're going to talk some women's soccer as they gear up for the NCAA Division II Central Regional this weekend. They'll be in action Friday in Emporia. We'll talk some basketball. Talia Cars joining us for the first time. Mark Johnson a little bit later on in the program, and then we'll also wrap up the football season with head coach Chris Brown toward the end of the program. So we're certainly glad to have you a part of it. And as we say each and every show, we'd love to have you participate. You can ask a question for the coach. All you have to do, if you're not in the audience today, if you're listening to us, go to the FHSU Athletics website, FHSUathletics.com. Click on the Fans tab. You'll get that drop-down menu, and you'll see Ask the Coach. Submit your question. If we use it, chance to win a T-shirt from the Fort Hays State Athletic Office. And, of course, for all of our in-house guests here today. Good crowd here at Tiger Club. You can submit a question at your table, and they'll bring it up to us, and we'll try to get it on in the program. Again, we're going to talk some basketball, talk some football, but right now we're going to talk a little women's soccer. Second year in a row, fourth time in program history. The Tigers headed to the NCAA tournament. Tyson John, the head coach of the Tiger women, join us. First off, congratulations. I know after the loss to Central Missouri, a heartbreaker in the conference tournament, had to be some nerves, anxious nerves, and then unfortunately you got to wait all the way till Monday evening. That's a long way to where you think you're in, but you never know. That had to be excruciatingly painful at times.
It was. I mean, that we wish that they would do that on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we had a little bit of time because we weren't sure if we were going to go to Minnesota or where we were going to be, and at one point we thought maybe we'd be able to host, and that would have been ideal for us because we love playing at home. But we're happy to be still in the race.
Well, it did. I mean, it was great. Obviously, a great body of work all season long, and getting to the semis of the tournament. Let's talk about the match in the semifinals. Number 15, Central Missouri. You lose 1-0 to a team that's obviously had a very good season. Just tell us about the match. Obviously, you had some chances. It was a good one, and they just found a way to get the one goal.
It's honestly the luckiest goal I've ever conceded as a coach. The girl went to cross it. She was looking over. She hit it with her left foot. She's a right-footed player. It went off of her toe, and it swung out, and it hit the turf and bounced the opposite direction. And it hit the post and went in, and I just went, you got to be kidding me. Probably our best performance against Central Missouri year to date, at least since I've been here. We battled. I mean, we battled that entire match. They had 4 shots on target. We had 3. I felt like the best chance of the game outside of the goal that went in. But no, and I told the team after the game, I said, it's not an ideal result, but if we're going to lose, that's how you lose. You leave it all out there. And I said, I'm very proud of our performance, and I walk around still with my head held high, and you should too, and we're not out of this. And they were kind of feeling like, well, we probably won't get in now. And I said, I think you're probably wrong. I've been doing this a little bit longer than you. So I said, we're in prime position. Everybody that was behind us, was already out. They were knocked out in the quarterfinal match, and then 2 4 seeds win it. So, I mean, it's been a crazy year, especially during the tournament time, and that's the best thing about the tournament is that anything can happen.
Well, talk about your team a little bit. I know you've battled some injuries. You've been pretty consistent, though, through all of that. I would think you have to be feeling pretty good about where you're at and how you're playing going into the NCAA.
Absolutely. I think that, once they know that we can go out and we can put in a 90-minute performance like we did against Central Missouri, that we can go out and we've already got a result over Emporia, and we know it's going to take every bit of that 90 minutes for us to get that done and get that done well. But yeah, very confident. Yesterday was probably our best training session all year. They were following directions. They were buzzing. They were talking. They were being very focused on their technique. And so, yeah, another good day of training. And then we hit the road tomorrow at 8 a.m.
We'll talk about Emporia and the match coming up here on Friday in just a little bit. All-conference team came out, and they were happy with the selections. I know obviously everybody wants to get a few more on there, but I sense maybe not. You thought you maybe should add a few more.
I did. I mean, honestly, we've given up 12 goals. We're
right.
The second leading defense in the MIAA, and we're top 10 in the country. And yeah, to only have one first teamer, yeah, that stung, especially when teams below you are getting the same amount of people on there. And I just felt like we had a few individuals that deserved to be on first team. I felt like Riley Madden deserved to be there as well. Felt like Isabel Robin deserved to be there as well. And so, yeah, for me, it was a little bit, I was curious on how they got to that. But we just have to go and show them that this is why we should have had more people on there.
Do you use that as a little motivation? I'm sure your team will do it.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about Emporia State. That'll be at 1 o'clock on Friday in Emporia. And I guess, you talk about teams got to be feeling good. They go out and they win the conference tournament, and they won the whole thing, knocked off Central. They're playing some pretty good soccer right now.
They are hot. They're on an 8-game unbeaten streak at the moment. And so, yeah, they're playing as good as they can be for the moment. They still have the all-time leading goal scorer, DeMarco. She broke the record this year, and she's continued to score goals. We've usually done a pretty good job at not letting her get as many looks. So, yeah, we look to do that. It's going to be a bloodbath. I think it's going to be the most physical game that you will ever see our team play, because they have so many seniors. We have so many seniors, and so when that score tilts one way or the other, it's gonna change the way, because people don't have much to lose, and they're a physical team. So as long as I can keep it from turning into a fist fight, I feel like I had a job well done.
You've had success against them. You played to a draw earlier this year. I think that was at home. You beat them at their place. What was successful? What do you have to repeat? And what do you have to do to try to replicate that to get a win and advance on to the second round?
Well, I think that game for us was a big turning point where, I looked at it last year, and we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, where I said, championship soccer, we're a team that likes to build up. We like to possess the ball, possession with purpose. We can still unlock defenses with few passes, but we're going to have to play the game on their side of the field. And so for us, I decided that the way that it ended up last year, that I was going to change that way, that we could play more of an attacking style, create more chances, win more corner kicks, and because the more that we're on their half, the better off we're going to be.
Just talk about what it means to get back to the tournament. As we said, second year in a row. It's the first time in Fort Hays State women's soccer history that you've gone in back-to-back years. Fourth time in program history. Just what that means. I know you're busy out recruiting right now. You mentioned a very senior-laden team. You've got a lot of people to replace. But the fact you're still playing and you're into the NCAA, what does that do for the program?
No, I think it's great, and it's very exciting on where the program is going. And so, these people have put in the hard work. The girls are great, and so we just need to keep bringing in those quality type of student athletes, blue collar, and I think that we're on our way to being able to replace them the best way that we can, moving forward. But we brought in some new talent. I think Allison Worley has really showed that 5'10" striker I brought in from Daytona State. I'm looking at another center back, Jamaican national team player from Daytona State, 5'11", another striker that's 5'11". So. Yeah, we're gonna change, but hopefully we're gonna be a bigger, a more physical team, because I think that this conference requires that, and I think that was the big change that Washburn made this year. Is I think the average on their team is around 5'8", 5'9". They have one or two players that are on the smaller side, but outside of that, they're a very big and physical team, and I think that's what it takes to be able to be consistent.
We always talk about you do well in the MIAA and the MIAA tournament. You've got a good chance to do well once you get to the national tournament. Unfortunately, it's kind of like a mini MIAA tournament, which is a testament to how good the soccer is, and we see it in all sports. But there's a lot of MIAA schools that are playing still this weekend.
I'm not sure how much brain power they have over there in those committees, because they could have changed one match and would have put us, and they did it last year so that we didn't have to go and play another MIAA team up in Minnesota. One match, if they moved us to the 6 where we were already, we would have played St. Cloud. Emporia would have played Bemidji, and you would have had every single team playing another team from another conference. It's exhausting playing a conference tournament and then playing the second round of a conference tournament. But if we do the job, when we do the job on Thursday or Friday, we're guaranteed to play a Minnesota opponent and somebody from outside the conference.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It happens in basketball all the time. I agree with you. I don't know why they do it, but they do. You mentioned heading out. You're going to practice there. Just your plans and what you go about now between now and the match on Friday afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, we train tonight. We leave at 8 a.m. tomorrow. We'll drive straight into Emporia's Field. We'll train at 12:15 to 1:15, get some lunch, check into the hotel, feed them a really good steak dinner on Thursday night, and then we got to be up early. We have a meeting 3 hours before the match. We play an early match, not the earliest match, 1 p.m. And so we'll be eating 3 hours before the game, and let's go get the job done.
Yeah, it sounds good. Hopefully it's a good result, and you get to spend the weekend in Emporia. Should be a lot of fun. Congratulations, great job. It's been a great season. Obviously, you've broken a lot of records and have done some great things, and getting back to the tournament. And in kind of a way, I mean, it's like, as you said, you're a senior-laden group. You want to do well, but what do you have to lose? I mean, it's kind of, playing with house money. Just go out there and let it out there and see where it goes.
That's exactly what we're going to do. And this group is more than capable of doing that. And so I would say that at the moment, we are playing the best soccer that we have been all season, even through the injuries and whatnot. So for me, I could not be more proud and more excited to go and have this opportunity and take advantage of it.
All right, appreciate it. Tyson, congratulations. Keep it rolling. Good luck at Emporia.
Thank you.
There you go.
Everyone.
That is Tyson John, the head women's soccer coach. Again, that'll be at 1 o'clock on Friday in Emporia, and it'll, of course, be streamed. There'll be a link on the Fort Hays State Athletics website through the NCAA, but you'll be able to watch that match. Again, 1 o'clock on Friday. Tiger Talk brought to you in part by the Taco Shop. Whether you order by phone, use their handy app, dine in, carry out, or delivery, you've never had it so good. The Taco Shop, they've been a Hays tradition since 1970. We're going to take a break. We'll come back and talk some women's basketball. Talia Cars makes her debut on Tiger Talk next, right here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
Looking for a dump down into Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck catches, scores, and that's 1,000 career points for Olivia Hollenbeck. 1,000 points and the 25th player in Tiger history to hit 1,000 career points. 2-0 Fort Hays State.
Yeah, get that out of the way right out of the gate on Friday. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. We're talking some women's basketball. Talia Cars joining us for the first time on the show, the new head women's coach at Fort Hays State. Thanks to Dustin for filling in and doing the 2 games up in St. Joe. You may want him to do them all. Great start. But congratulations. You've been in the program a long time, a player, a GA, assistant coach, now the head coach. Was it everything you expected, your first collegiate game officially?
I definitely hoped to get the 2 wins, but we knew going into it that especially Saturday was going to be a battle and it was going to be tough. And they played great. They played together. They played as a team. The bench morale was awesome. It was a lot of fun to be a part of, and it was definitely nice to get those 2 wins.
Well, and we heard the highlight. Olivia was right on the cusp of 1,000 points. Was it designed to go to her and get it out of the way? I'm sure just the way it worked out, but it was a nice milestone to get out of the way early, and then you could go concentrate on playing basketball the rest of the way.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a bad coach or not. I had no idea. Had no idea until they told me after the game, and I was like, oh, that's exciting. And like the girls, I don't know if the girls knew or not. I got on the bus afterwards, and I said, Liv got her 1,000th point, and I think her parents maybe had told her, but I don't think anybody even knew. So it was really cool that it happened that way and happened that fast. And it was exciting.
Why not? I mean, going in, you could see they were kind of rebuilding, and they were a young team. You're an experienced squad, but it looked like your team handled that pretty well and kind of stuck to task and played a pretty solid game for all 4 quarters.
Yeah, we tried to do a little bit of different things on the ball screens than the girls were used to, and so they were questioning it a little bit, I think, going into the game. But they did a great job of trying to do what I was asking them to do, and worked really hard at that. And then we kind of tried to do something different the next day. And so I think that was encouraging for them I want to do it this way today, so that the next day they think we're going to do that, and we're not. And so I think they really took a hold of that and made it happen.
Obviously, you've been around the program a little bit, but every coach has their own ideas and philosophies and puts their own mark on it. What are maybe some of the differences, how you're going about it, and just maybe how you run your offense and defense than what Coach Hobson did prior to that?
I think in the past we've always really enjoyed running it. I'm trying to do it in a different way, maybe a little bit, but we're still trying to get up and down the floor as fast as we can, and we want to shoot a lot of layups. And we're shooting the ball pretty well right now too, and we didn't see that as much in the first half of each game, but then the second half we came out in both of them and kind of got our feet under us, I think, and made some shots, and so that's been really exciting to watch.
I was going to ask you about that. The three-point shooting, I mean, you look at the numbers, they're okay, but you did. Second half, I mean, you shot at a very high percentage, and it seems like that was an element that this group missed last year, that consistent three-point shooting. And you've seen these ladies in practice and show glimpses of it. You feel that it's kind of coming together? Because obviously that's such a game changer when you can knock that shot in.
And I mean, they're all good basketball players. They wouldn't be here if they weren't good, and they've got to believe it. And I think that's something that I'm really trying to hone in on, is that they believe that they're good shooters, and they believe they can make shots. And our inside presence is phenomenal. And so when we can get that outside presence doing the same thing, then it's pretty impossible to stop.
All right, you turned around, you had the nice win over Minot, and then you had to play Minnesota State. And obviously they've battled some injuries. Their best player, Bat, the point guard, has been out, which is unfortunate. And we talk about, the importance of these games, and they've had a difficult schedule. They played in one of those early ones. I mean, they're probably one of the best teams in the region, and they're kind of in a situation, and they don't get healthy quickly. They may be out of the NCAA picture, which is unfortunate, but still a good team, and we've seen them before, and it was a tight one here. That was a good win against a good opponent, whether she played or not.
Yeah, no, our girls were hungry. They were ready to get them back, and we lost to a buzzer buzzer beater last year to them, and they were ready to play them. We were fully expecting to see the point guard. Honestly, we were prepared for her to come back for our game and see if she could play. But she broke her wrist, and she's still coming back from that. Hopefully, they get her back in about 2 weeks. But our girls were hungry. They were ready to beat them again.
Obviously, Katie Wagner had a monster game, the double-double, 32 points, 12 boards, played 36 minutes. We've seen her take over before, but this may have been the best she's been. Yeah,
we're kind of doing a little bit of different things with her that I think is allowing her a different way to score, where she's not having to be so physical, and she can kind of go to the basket when she wants to, and she's doing a great job of seeing that and making it happen.
Probably the most exciting part, Ellie Stearns and Brooke Levy combined to score 30. We've seen Ellie at times. Brooke, we see flashes, but that was encouraging to see that.
Yeah, I think that's the fun thing about going from freshman to sophomore year is we always see kind of a big jump. Things are starting to click. They start to realize kind of what we expect out of them, and they did a great job of scoring the ball, but, man, they got after it on defense. And I think that's what you saw a lot of their shots came from because they got a steal, and they got to shoot a layup, or they kicked it out to Ellie because we got a steal, and she got to shoot a three. And they're both believing in themselves and that they're capable of being good basketball players.
It seems like Brooke, and it's hard to always, she was a freshman last year because she seems so advanced at times, but she can where she can finish because she's got a knack to get to the rim. Seems like one of your quicker players on the team.
Yeah, and she handles it good, and it's awkward enough that she just gets by somebody. And I think she's just a really hard player to guard, and she just does a great job of passing the ball too. And so I think she doesn't necessarily have the scorer's mentality, but she's also very capable of doing that.
Played a lot of people, and we've talked before the season. You get 200 minutes in a game to distribute, and you've brought it up, and you've told your team about, hey, I mean, your minutes may drop, but it could lead to the bigger things in the end. How do you think they've handled that, and you as a staff to try to figure all that out? I'm sure it's a little bit of a work in progress still.
It is, and that's the beauty of having that many kids that can play is somebody's going to have a really good night one night, and then the next night somebody else probably will have a really good night, and then maybe she doesn't have as good of a night, but somebody else will. And so, I mean, that's part of being a coach is that the girls kind of tell you who they should be playing. They're either on their game and they need to be playing a lot, or they're struggling. And then next man up. So they do a great job. That was something I was most proud of, and I think over and over the weekend that parents were telling me, man, your bench, they were great. Like, they were so much fun to watch. They were celebrating. They were high-fiving. And something at the end of the second game is the stats kind of got messed up. So we got told that we needed to kind of go through and make sure the stats were right. And Sasha, who wasn't suited up, was like, well, make sure they stat my high fives. Because she was giving high fives like crazy. And so I think that was something that was really encouraging.
How's she doing? I know, unfortunately, we haven't really had a chance to watch her because she's been battling injury.
Yeah, nope. she broke her foot again. So it's something that we're not sure exactly what that's going to look like in the future. Potential surgery, maybe not. Maybe just kind of suck it up and go. So we're just kind of resting it right now and just seeing what that looks like. All
right, well, hopefully, because when she has played, we've seen glimpses of how good she can be. All right, let's talk about this weekend. A rare Sunday-Monday matchup. It was moved around from where it was originally scheduled because MSU Denver is hosting the RMAC volleyball tournament this weekend. You're going to play Colorado Mesa in Lakewood at Colorado Christian University. That'll be on Sunday afternoon at 3, and then Monday at 3 you'll be back at MSU Denver to face the Roadrunners. Obviously, they're a team that's struggling right now, but Colorado Mesa, I think they're undefeated, 5-0, and they've traditionally been pretty good. You played them, was it last year or a couple of years ago? They maybe were down a little bit, but it looks like they're kind of right back. They've been a perennial NCAA tournament team out of the RMAC. Yeah,
we played them here last year, and they actually had 2 key injuries.
That's right.
In their season last year. So they have those kids back. They have a really good post player. So I'm excited to see how our girls match up with her. And then they actually have a freshman right now that's their second leading scorer. So we haven't got to see her yet. And they play really good team basketball. They don't play a lot of kids. And so I'm hoping that our depth can kind of get to them. Our pressure can kind of get to them. They really like to run their sets, and they have about 25 of them that they try to run, and they execute them really well. And so I'm hoping that we can just kind of get them sped up and kind of get out of their comfort zone.
Now, you look at it, you had the 2 games. You got these 2 Sunday, Monday. You'll play again over Thanksgiving break, and then that conference. I mean, it's like you blink and it's almost going to be conference time. These games are obviously still important tune-ups for what's one of the ultimate goals every year is try to contend and win the MIAA. And it won't be here long before it starts.
It won't be, and we've been watching scores, and it kind of looks like the conference is kind of all over the place. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
All right, sounds good. Talia, we appreciate it. Congratulations. Great job. Batting 1,000 right now. Let's keep it up as you go out to Colorado and take on the Mavericks and the Roadrunners.
Thanks, Rod.
There you go. Talia Cars, head women's coach at Fort Hays State University. Okay, so the schedule for Sunday is 3 o'clock for the women. The men will actually play at 1 o'clock Central Time against MSU Denver. We'll have both those games on Tiger Radio Mix 103. We'll go back-to-back like a doubleheader, just men first, then the women. Dustin will be calling the women's game since it'll be a little bit tough to get from point A to point B. And then Monday, it's a 3 o'clock Central Time tip as well. So some Monday matinee basketball, all 3 of those on Tiger Radio Mix 103, and all 3 should be streamed, although I'm not sure about the game on Sunday because it's going to be at a neutral site. But if there is, there'll be a link on the Fort Hays State Athletics website. Kansas Department of Transportation and the Drive to Zero Coalition invite you to join Tiger fans with a plan. If you're going to be drinking, always designate a sober driver. We'll talk men's basketball. Mark Johnson joins us after the break here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
The Golden Q is the place for football and food. Friday night, when your team is out of town, stop in for your favorite burger and watch the game, plus catch every NFL game with the NFL Sunday Ticket. Want to enjoy the game from home, but still eat the Golden Q's tasty food? Use their app to place an order to go or use DoorDash. Then when it's time to blow off some steam, head to the Fort, duck pin, bowling, axe throwing, VR, and check out their huge outdoor patio. Book a party room for your group or host a large gathering at the Fort. The Golden Q and the Fort in Hays.
Now, ball knocked away by Nanabu and stolen. Fort Hays State basketball, a chance to take the lead. Elijah the rim. He missed it with the left hand, but Trajan Davis there to follow. And for the first time tonight, Fort Hays State has the lead. They score the first 2 baskets of the second half. They're on an 8-0 run going back to the first half and lead 32-31. Some of the action from Friday night as the Tiger men opened up with a victory over Southwestern Oklahoma State, then followed that with a Saturday win over Arkansas Tech. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. It's brought to you in part by BTI, your John Deere dealer. Locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family, in partnership with your family. Joined now by head men's coach Mark Johnson. And congratulations. I know we talked before the game Friday night. First two games out of the gate, but man, they carry so much weight because they're in region games. And you could point to last season maybe missing the NCAA because of a first game loss down at Southwestern Oklahoma State. You guys got off to a good start and got two hard-fought wins to open up the year down in Emporia.
Yeah, you know, these games should be played the last weekend in December, where you're closer to who you are and it has a little more meaning. Like you said, we put too much emphasis in these games to determine who gets in the NCAA tournament at the end of the year. It's opening weekend. It's just a thing that needs to be changed, but never will. Yeah, you know, we came out and really last year we talked about going in. We played really bad down there, and in the first 10 minutes it was just a complete replay of last year. We just really got off to a terrible start again. Really, our returners struggled. Our two new guys just carried us in the first half. R.J. Crawford and Sean Riley. If it wasn't for them, we probably would have dug ourselves too big a hole. But got it to 3, and then just kind of played better basketball the rest of the weekend. But yeah, we got off to a tough start. I don't know what that is about the start to the season the last couple of years, but was proud of the way we responded back. Like I said, those guys were really good. Sean had 15 and 10. I think RJ had 15 for their first games, and then our returners kind of relaxed, settled in, and started to play well the rest of the game. And Southwest Oklahoma was probably a little better than we anticipated. It was a whole relatively new team, a new coaching staff, and they played the next night in Emporia. It was closer at halftime, and they just kind of ran out of gas. But they're an impressive team and athletic, and I thought our guys handled it pretty well. We kind of did some things to hurt us at the end of the game, but Elijah made 2 big free throws to seal it for us.
Now, you have always, I think you've made good adjustments in game and at halftime. I don't know what you've told your team the first two games at halftime, because you've come out in the second half and really played well and have been able to get some separation of those first 4 or 5 minutes of the second half in the first 2 times out.
Well, I'm pretty smart. I just said, guys, can you try to play better? And
there you go.
That was pretty much it. No, they just came out and really, like I say about this group, really the last few years, you know, we don't try to play like the scores were 66-52 in Saturday and all that. You know, our guys just guard you, and it takes the other team so long to get a shot off. It's not something we're trying to – if we could score 100, but to be in a high-paced game, you have to let the other team score pretty fast or at least shoot it pretty fast. And our guys don't do that. I think the biggest thing is our guys, I use this all the time the last few years, they're just relentless, you know, and the other team knows they're playing against our guys, our players, and they're going to have to play hard. I know that's a big talking point before the game. You guys have to come out here, you're going to have to play physical, you're going to have to play tough against these guys. And if you don't do it all the time, you can do it for a while. And I think our guys are just relentless, and they're able to maintain that effort and that toughness and that never backing down for the entire game. And eventually the other team cannot just sustain that like our group can. And we can't do that every year. That's not something about our coaching or anything. Just we have a special group. The last 3 years, we have 4 of them left. You know, Trey, B, Elijah, and Caleb. It seems like each year we're losing a couple of those guys, so it's not something that we can do every year. We try to do it every year, but these guys just are relentless, and they don't give an inch the entire game, and eventually the other team kind of has a hard time staying with them as far as effort and toughness.
We talked a lot about how good defensively you've been the last couple of years, and not sure how this team's going to line up just with the new faces. I mean, the effort's been there, and obviously a long ways to go, and it's never probably to the level you would like. But about the defense, how do you feel they handled it in the first 2 games out, and this team have a chance to be pretty decent there?
Yeah, we weren't very good the first 10 minutes of the weekend. After that, I thought we were really good. I'd say the concern is we're not as big as we've been. You know, B having to slide down to the 5, that moves Trey down to the 4, where last year they were 3, played the 3 and the 4. So I think our size could be as a thing. You have to have size to be successful defensively, and but they're getting after. They're trying. I think our new guys are getting better, and we just got to keep doing what they do every day. And we'll have a big test this weekend on the road against a very talented team. And I'm just curious to see what we can do. And again, we're still in a new process here, even as we said all weekend. Players and coaches are trying to figure this team out, what we need to do to be successful, and it's a work in progress.
8 days to practice now after the first 2 games. Maybe not ideal, maybe ideal. I mean, a chance to, I guess, get some video out and work on the things you need to work on.
Yeah, I mean, from a player standpoint, it's probably not the best because like I said, we start now in the end of August, and you go all the way up through. You finally get to play games, and now you have to go right back and practice all week, so it can be difficult. But I think to this point, our guys have done a really good job of trying to get better all week and preparing the way you have to prepare.
You mentioned it, tough ones this weekend, or tough game. It's going to be on Sunday at 1 o'clock Central Time out in Denver. MSU Denver, the Roadrunners, former Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference foe, and they had a new coach last year, and they had an okay year. They were below 500, but they returned most of the key players, and he's brought in some more. They had 2 impressive wins to start the season. Obviously, I think they play tomorrow night, but it's going to be a big-time test, and you've said maybe the toughest non-conference test you'll have this year.
Yeah, they're much improved. I would assume, I don't remember their records over the last. I would say this is probably arguably their best team they've had in 10 years possibly. I think they're really good. They have everybody back from last year. That was a good player. The big guy is arguably one of the best big guys we play all year.
Mm-hmm.
I really felt like that was the only guy, Ian. He took it to Ian, which that was about the only guy that could do that. And then he was at a previous Division II, and for whatever reason, his guys last year didn't come with him, but he took the 3 best players off their team at Belmont Abbey. That was a good program. So, he had about 7 guys back, and he added the 3 best players at another Division II team. So they'll be big. They're athletic. They really try to press. They try to get the game up and down and things like that. It's a road game. Their officials, and I don't mean that in an integrity way, just each region of the country, each league calls the game different. In our league, you can pretty much pound on each other, and there's not going to be a lot of fouls called. You go to the RMAC, we've noticed when we've been scrimmaging, they call it much, much tighter, which I don't think helps us. We would like the game to be called much more loose and be a more physical game, so we're going to have to adjust through that. Just the way, and that's even when 2 RMAC teams are playing. It's nothing against, not a Fort Hays thing. It's just their league calls it much tighter, and it's a much more non-physical game, and we probably would like to have it as physical as it can be. So it'll be a great challenge for us heading into conference play, being on the road against, to me, I think there's a chance. Again, when you watch film, you never know for sure, but I think there's an opportunity this could be a top 10 most talented team we play all season, and it's early in the season, so it'll be a good test.
All right, it'll be fun to hook up with the Roadrunners at the Auraria Event Center. I think the last time we were there was a pretty good Tiger win, if I remember right. Jeremy Atwater kind of went crazy in that game when it was an RMA CFOs. Coach, as always, appreciate the time. Great start, and looking forward to a big matchup Sunday out in Denver.
All right, thank you, Jordan.
There you go. Head coach Mark Johnson of the Fort Hays State Tigers. Again, that'll be a 1 o'clock Central Time tip. We'll have it right on the Tiger Sports Network, Tiger Radio Mix 103.3, and it will be video streamed as well, which you can see the link on the Fort Hays State Athletic website. And you can always sync the radio broadcast with the TV network feed. Use the TuneIn app and then pause whichever one's running ahead to the opening tip. Tiger Talk brought to you by the HaysMed Orthopedic Institute, the most comprehensive orthopedic care in Western Kansas. Learn more at haysmed.com/orthopedics. Head football coach Chris Brown joins us next. This is Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
Ready to discover something new? The next time you're in your car, tune your radio to 94.3 FM.
It's here. It's Hayes' greatest hits.
Love it.
On 1400 KAYS and 94.3 FM. Do you believe in love? Story. Well,
94.3 FM, KAYS. Go ahead. Check us out.
They hand it up the middle to Dixon. Cuts to his right, breaks a tackle. 15 to the 10 to the 5. Touchdown! Fort Hays State. Travis Dixon with his second rushing touchdown in the first quarter has given the Tigers the lead at 12-10. Yeah, some of the action from Saturday. Heck of a football game. Unfortunately, the Tigers come up 3 points short to the Emporia State Hornets. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Did want to mention before we talk some football, we're talking about basketball. Next Tuesday, Fort Hays State Men will be at home against Central Christian College. That'll be a noon tip-off at Gross Memorial Coliseum. It's going to be a little bit of a fun event. There'll be a lot of kids there. The elementary schools from USD 489, K through 8 will be there. Holy Family Elementary and both TMP Marion and Hayes Middle School students will all be there. So should be a fun environment for Tuesday afternoon basketball, a noon tip at a Gross Memorial Coliseum. All right, we're joined now by head football coach Chris Brown. It was a highly entertaining game on Saturday. I guess the only bummer was you came up on the wrong end of a 45-42 score. And I'm sure you have a game like that. You can get, obviously the muff punt played a big factor in that, but it's a lot of other things could have changed that throughout the game. But, boy, your guys battled against a really good football team and just unfortunately came up 3 points short. Yeah, it is. Our kids, all year long have battled. They fought every game. And, you can't ask for more than that. They did everything we asked them to do through the season, watching film, lifting weights, practice, and they competed. All four. Not all four quarters sometimes, but they never quit, and they just kept battling. Year in, year out. It's not that one play that cost us that game. We gave up too many big plays defensively, and we shut some of those things. I thought we did a better job in the second half, but the first half we didn't really shut them down at all. So a team like that. And a quarterback like that, it's hard, but you can get those things done. We just got to be a little bit stickier in our coverage and keep our eyes open and keep everything in front of us and not let them have those big plays. The game kind of flipped because halftime was the only thing that stopped them in the first half. They scored on every possession. But then you look, you had, I think throughout the game, you stopped them 5 times. They were all in the second half. They had 6 stops against you. You start looking at the numbers. You actually had more offense. It kind of evened out. What changed in that second half? Because other than their opening drive, the only other score they got was after the muff punt, and they got the ball close to the goal line. You guys were much better defensively in slowing them down after halftime. We didn't really change anything. We kept the same coverages, same blitzes. Everything was absolutely the same. Just our guys played a little bit stickier like we were asking them to do, and and it kind of took some of those routes away from them. We got a little bit more pressure on them and made them scramble a little bit more, but we really didn't change much. Defensively, we kind of kept the same game plan. Maybe play a little bit more cover 3 than we did in the first half, but we kept things in front of us for the most part in the second half, and we actually got some stops and got them in some second and third and long situations and got the ball back to our offense. But I thought our offense played very, very well in this game. I thought Jack maybe had one of his better games, if maybe his best game of the year. Obviously, you look at the numbers you guys put up, but he was very efficient. It seemed to run the ball when it was there a little bit more, made the right pass, and made the smart pass throughout the game. He did. I don't think he really made any big, huge mistakes in this game at all, and he did run when he needed to run, and I think he was just a little bit healthier as well and wanted to get to that next game too. So sometimes you sell out a little bit more, when things are kind of on the line and trying to get to that next game. But I thought Jack's game, this game, was probably one of his best ones all year long. Talk about Travis Dixon. We heard the highlight earlier. He has a couple of rushing touchdowns, finishes with 154 yards. Kind of saw it the week before as well, but saw there at the end of the year the guy you think he can be. That was obviously his best game as a Tiger. It is. It's always hard to kind of transition from a junior college to a 4-year and learn the system and then trying to figure out offensive line, the blocking schemes, and all those things. But as the year went on, I think he got a little bit better. These last 2 weeks were his best weeks, and I thought he did very well for us. He's a very physical runner, and he's hard to bring down. So I'm glad he's on our side. We just got to get him a little bit stronger and hopefully get a little bit faster this spring and let him run, get after it next fall. Obviously, it was tough because the way everything went down, Missouri Western blowing a big lead and ended up losing in double overtime at Missouri Southern probably keeps you out of any bowl contention. So kind of a difficult way for it to end, kind of the double whammy there, and that being the end of the year for everybody because they'd worked so hard and just come up one game short of extending their season in one way or another. Yeah, they did. And I was hoping we'd get that next one because, our kids were, we played hard all season and they worked their tails off all season long, and it was a different group, and you could feel it, through the game, just the intensity that they played with,
the brotherhood that they played with as well, and fighting for one another and battling with each other, and the positivity that they played with as well for each other. And I mean, they just played hard, and it's hard to always have that last game and it be over, because it's really weird for a coach, this time of year right now, especially on Sunday, when you're used to going to the office and watching film and breaking down and getting ready for the next week, and then like today's game planning and practice, and you just kind of transition to this whole new recruiting now. Okay, now what are we doing? And then meet with the players too. You got to meet with all your players before you get on the road and meet, because they come first, and we just got to make sure if they're coming back or they're not coming back and those things. But the transition's hard, but I wish we could have got one more, because I really want to play one more with this group of guys.
Well, we'll talk about the offseason, what the spring looks like, recruiting, and all of those things when we come back. We'll talk some more football with Chris Brown. Remind you, the Tiger Talk brought to you tonight by the Golden Belt Bank. Your life has a story, and Golden Belt Bank wants to get to know that story. It's Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis. Visit them at goldenbeltbank.com. One final segment with head coach Chris Brown right after this on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at hayespost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, real country. 99 KZ Country.
Dawson to throw. Again, time in the pocket. Looking downfield for Watts. Makes the catch. Touchdown! Fort Hays State just across the goal line. Trevor Watts hauls it in. A 24-yard touchdown pass. And the Tigers have cut it to 5. 38-33 with 17 seconds to go in the third. Yeah, Trevor had a heck of a day. 210 yards, 13 targets, 13 catches. He had a monster game as the Tigers come up just a little bit short to Emporia State. Fort Hays State football invites you to join Tiger fans with a plan. If you're going to be drinking, always designate a sober driver. Before we talk about the off-season recruiting, senior day, it was a quick go of it because you don't have a lot of them, which is exciting. I thought it was neat for some of the players who couldn't have family there. Their positions were there. I've not noticed that before. Like Jason Wallace, the defensive line core was there. With Jaquan Tillis, the rest of the running back room was there. That was neat. That kind of is a testament. You talked about this being a special group. I think right there shows a lot of the bond and just why this group had the type of season they did.
Yeah, they're a tight family, and they really truly support one another, and they're each other's biggest cheerleaders, and they're going to do anything they can for their teammates as well. And it was really cool to see that, and represent Daniel Howard as well, and a kid from Emporia, being out there with them. They were best friends through high school and middle school and all that. And then Mikhail being there with that young man at that same time and just kind of showing his support for him too. So it's just the kids we just got tremendous kids, great character. I can't say enough good things about them.
Not a lot of time left. All conference, you had 17 to the list. John Johnson, the only first-team pick. A lot of second, a lot of third. I guess first, happy with it? I mean, because you look, there's so many good players in the MIAA with such good teams this year.
Yeah, I am. I still think we should have had a few more first teams.
Right.
Like, I really think Miles Mingus was a first team, and Jason Wallace, and Trevor Watts with his production that he had this year, maybe not the touchdowns, but, the way he played, the number of yards that he had, and he was kind of always our go-to guy to get first downs and things like that. But there's, a couple others that I thought could have been first-team guys as well. But, the numbers are good. Win more games, you probably get more, first-team guys as well. So that's just something we got to work on next year and get more guys on that list.
Well, obviously, the exciting part, you have a lot of guys back. And I know every year's different. There'll probably be some who opt not to come back. But you should have a good nucleus, a good core coming back. And then you guys are going to be hitting the road heavy here to try to bolster the roster for next year. But obviously, some exciting times for this upcoming offseason and season to come here in 2024.
It is. I'm excited to see how these kids work. We've got coaches out already in California and Texas, and hitting the junior colleges already here in Kansas, hitting the JUCOs too. So they left out on Monday and kind of hit the road already. So we've already kind of hit that mode, and I'm just kind of staying back, meeting with all the players, and just kind of doing some exit meetings with them as well, and just kind of see what their decisions are, because some will come with the portal and all those things going on now. It's just kind of the way it is.
Well, hopefully a good core does come back. I know we're excited for the upcoming season, and certainly have enjoyed watching this group group throughout the year. After 3 wins last year, 7 is a lot more fun, and I know you like to even build on 7 and get us back to the playoffs.
I absolutely agree, Gerard. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Have a good, happy trails on the recruiting trail, and we look forward to be in 2024 before we know it. Yes. That's going to wrap it up for the program. Certainly hope you enjoyed it. It's brought to you today by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, BTI, and the Taco Shop. No program next Wednesday because of the Thanksgiving break, so we'll talk to you in 2 weeks. We'll talk some basketball as we'll be gearing up for conference play in the MIAA. It's going to wrap it up for all the coaches. This is Gerard Wellbrock. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock, inviting you to join us for Tiger Talk Wednesday afternoons at 12:10 on KAYS. The show is part of the weekly Tiger Club meetings live from the Robbins Center on the Fort Hays State campus and brought to you by Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, the Taco Shop, and BTI, your area John Deere dealer. That's Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club Wednesdays at 12:10 on 94.3 FM and 1400 AM KAYS.